Imagine having only $1.87 to buy a Christmas gift for your loved one. This is the predicament Della found herself in. Della, a woman of modest means, found herself counting pennies just to get by. Every cent was a hard-earned victory, a triumph over the grocer, the vegetable man, and the butcher. Yet, despite her thrifty ways, the total never changed. $1.87. Christmas was just around the corner, and every time she counted her meager savings, her heart sank a little more. She wanted nothing more than to buy her beloved husband, Jim, a gift that would bring a smile to his face. But what could she possibly buy with such a small sum? Her funds were meager, but her determination was strong. She was resolved to find a way to make this Christmas special, no matter the cost. Della had two prized possessions: her long, beautiful hair and her love for Jim. Her hair, a lustrous waterfall of brown, was as precious to her as the heirloom watch was to Jim. But with only $1.87 in her pocket, Della was left with a heart-wrenching decision. One day, she found herself standing in front of a shop, her heart pounding in her chest. The sign above read, "Madame Sofronie, hair goods of all kinds." Della took a deep breath, pushed open the door, and stepped inside. There, she made a choice. She offered what was most precious to her, her beautiful hair, for sale. The shopkeeper, a stern-faced woman with a keen eye, examined Della's hair. She ran her fingers through it, feeling the silky strands, and then offered Della $20. $20 for the sacrifice of her crowning glory. Della agreed. The scissors snipped away, each cut echoing in the quiet room. Della watched as her beloved hair fell to the floor, a sacrifice made out of love and necessity. When it was over, she was left with her hair shorter, her heart heavier, but her resolve stronger. With the $20 clutched tightly in her hand, Della set off to find the perfect gift for Jim. She walked down the streets, her eyes scanning the shop windows until she found it, a platinum fob chain, simple yet elegant, much like Jim himself. It was perfect. Without a moment's hesitation, she bought it. With 78 cents left, Della headed home. She had made a great sacrifice, all for the love of Jim. But as she looked at the platinum chain, she felt a sense of warmth. She had given up something precious, but in return, she had found something even more valuable, the ability to express her love in a tangible form. And for Della, that was worth more than all the hair in the world. She had made a great sacrifice, all for the love of Jim. With her newly acquired funds, Della sets out to find the perfect gift for Jim. Her heart is aflutter with anticipation as she steps into the bustling marketplace, her eyes scanning the myriad stalls for something that would truly match Jim's simplicity and elegance. It's not an easy task, given her limited resources, but love fuels determination, and Della is nothing if not determined. She finally spots it, a platinum fob chain, gleaming under the soft vendor's light. It's simple yet classy, mirroring Jim's personality. It's perfect. With a quick exchange of money, the chain is hers. Della can't help but feel a surge of excitement as she imagines Jim's face lighting up at the sight of his treasured watch, adorned with the beautiful chain. She hurries home, clutching the precious gift close to her heart, her steps light despite the sacrifice she's made. Little did she know Jim had a surprise of his own. As Jim returns home, Della's anxiety peaks, hoping he'd still love her despite her drastic change. The door creaks open and Jim steps inside, his features washing with surprise as he takes in Della's altered appearance. "Your hair?" he starts, a note of confusion echoing in his voice. Della interjects, her voice filled with a cocktail of fear, excitement, and determination. She explains her sacrifice, how she sold her precious hair so she could afford a gift worthy of his love. As the words tumble from her lips, she reassures him, "It will grow back, dear. It's only hair." Jim's expression softens, his eyes welling up with admiration for his wife's selfless act. In the silence that ensues, you could hear a pin drop, their shared love filling the room, far more potent than any spoken word. Then, it's time for the exchange of gifts. Della presents Jim with the platinum fob chain, her hands shaking slightly as she hands over the small package. Jim's eyes light up as he unwraps the gift, his joy at the thoughtful present evident in his wide smile. Now it's Jim's turn to hand over his gift to Della. A set of combs, ones she had admired for what seemed like an eternity. Della's eyes fill with joyous tears, but a pang of sadness swiftly follows. Her hair, her beautiful long hair that would have adorned these combs, was gone. But instead of succumbing to despair, Jim speaks up, his voice steady and comforting. "We can put the gifts away for a while." His revelation follows. He had sold his watch to buy the combs. The room fills with a stunned silence, their sacrifices for each other now fully understood. They had given up their most cherished possessions for one another, only for their gifts to become redundant. But in that redundancy they found something far more valuable. In a twist of fate, their gifts were now of no immediate use. Yet they found joy not in the physical gifts, but in the profound love they held for each other, a love that was truly the greatest gift of all. In the face of this ironic twist, Della and Jim make a profound realization. Their initial reactions of surprise and a tinge of regret quickly dissolve, making way for a profound understanding of the depth of their love. The sacrifices they made for each other weren't about the physical items they gave up, but the intent behind their actions. Della's hair, Jim's watch. These were precious to them, yes, but not as precious as the person they were willing to part with them for. They realized that the true value of a gift is not measured in dollars and cents, but in the love it represents. The chain and the combs, while beautiful in their own right, were merely symbols of a love so deep and selfless, it was willing to let go of the tangible to hold on to the intangible. And so, with this newfound wisdom, they decide to put the gifts away. Not out of disappointment or embarrassment, but as a testament to their love, a love that doesn't need physical reminders to be felt. The gifts become symbols of a lesson learned, a lesson about the true essence of giving. As they sit down together for their simple Christmas dinner, there's a sense of contentment that fills the room. The meal may be simple, but the joy that accompanies it is boundless. They share laughter and memories, their hearts full with the understanding that they are each other's greatest gifts. In the grand scheme of things, Della and Jim may not have much. Their apartment may be small, their meals simple, and their gifts unusable. But what they lack in material wealth, they make up for in love. Their acts of sacrifice were not just acts of love, but acts of wisdom. They were wiser than the wisest, for they understood that love was the greatest gift of all. Indeed, in their own humble way, Della and Jim had embodied the true spirit of Christmas, giving not just gifts, but giving of oneself for love.